Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the Warden class as a damage dealer. As you know, I was at the ZeniMax headquarters event and I had the chance to playtest it. There's also some people that could playtest the Warden at PAX East together with Battlegrounds. Also keep in mind, this was a very early version of the Warden class, so things might and probably will change. Now, I want to talk both PvP, PvE, Stamina and Magicka as a damage dealer. First off, I want to touch on the passives. I do think the passives are really strong for PvP because you have access to so many major and minor buffs. For PvE, most passives are really weak because most are defensive passives. Like the only real offensive passive you have is the one that gives you 6% more physical damage and frost damage. That's basically fucking it. The class also has one other issue. One full skill tree is dedicated to healing, so there's just one skill tree gone, which could be damage abilities. And overall, the class doesn't seem to have a lot of damage abilities compared to like Magicka DK or like, don't know, a Nightblade, something like that. Again, for like now as a Magicka PvE damage dealer, how did I feel like it performed? I think it slightly underperformed compared to other setups. However, if they change some of the skills, it actually will be a very nice class, but we will see. Now you might think, oh, I want to build a frost-based class. Why is that not gonna work? Because frost abilities just suck donkey balls. Even as a Warden setup, you want to get as much fire skills as possible, simply because Magicka DK puts Engulfing Flame on the enemy, 10% more fire damage, Wall of Fire, 20% more damage. It's just like, there's no reason to go frost abilities over fires if you have the chance to, because fire is just so much superior. Which kinda sucks, but that's just how it is. Now, the class has quite a lot of dots. Like it has this frost dot, which you can apply around yourself. Like when you activate the skill, like those frost or like ice spikes come out of the ground 5 meters range, or 5 meters I think. It scales of max health, however, if I remember correctly, I had 19k health and it still did like 3k single target DPS, so it's really strong actually. It also has like this bee swarm, which is a nice dot, and if you reapply it before it runs out, it deals like more damage. The only thing why I think the class is not viable yet is because it has this confusion. Does it want to be a ranged or a melee character? If you remember Nightblades recently, the impale got changed to 28 meters from 18 meters. The reason why they did this is because they said it felt weird, because it was the only ability that isn't at 28 meters range. Like all other abilities were at 28 meters, impale was 18, so they changed it. Now the same thing happens with the Warden. Like you have this frost or ice dot around you that needs to be placed in a melee range. But then you have the Cliff Racer. The further you're away, the more damage it does. So like, what the fuck does the game want me to do? Like, does it want me to go back and forth? No, it's gonna suck donkey balls if I have to do that. So I suggested that they change the ice dot to something similar to like eruption, so you can place it from far away. That would solve a lot of issues. We will see if they do that or not. Then it actually might become pretty strong. It's just like it feels weird going back and forth. Also, the Magicka Warden has probably the most Magicka in the game, because you have the Sleet Storm ultimate, which is 8% more Magicka. You have Inner Light, which gives you another 7%, and then you can wear Necropotence. So you can have more Magicka than a Zork, for example. Yeah, you're probably gonna sit at 55k or even more, like a 60 or something like that. There is also the Bear ultimate, which hits like a fucking truck. However, it needs to be double slotted, right? Like on my website, I have the Ice and Fire build already ready, more or less. It's just, I slot Sleet Storm ultimate on front bar and Destro ultimate on the back bar, right? So I don't see a reason yet to use the Bear ultimate. It's really strong in single target, don't get me wrong, but you need to double slot it. Is it worth losing 8% overall Magicka for it? I am not sure. I just said like we use Necropotence. This is actually strong because you have the Betting Edge, which you only need to slot on one bar. And it stays active even on the other bar. And it procs Necropotence. So it gives you the Major Sword. The Betting Edge gives you the Major Sorcery buff. And it also gives you Magicka back a little bit. So I do think this is gonna be the... Like the Necropotence will be the set go-to for the Warden. So if you don't have Necropotence, go get it now, okay? Like I have been saying this for like 2 weeks. You're gonna want this set. Resource management, not sure yet. Betting Edge is the only really resource management here. Costs 2k Magicka, returns 4k. So yeah, make the calculation yourself. Stamina Warden for PvE. What is it? It felt like I played the weapon skill trees, like always, with the Maelstrom weapons. On any stamina setup, to get the max damage, you need Maelstrom weapons. Don't get me wrong. Other setups without Maelstrom weapons get very close. There is still like a 5 to 6k single target DPS difference. Now again, if you use Maelstrom weapons, the main issue the class had for me is like... I tried to use the Bear Ultimate because it has a stamina morph and it hits like a truck as well. It's nice for single target DPS. But then I don't have any class specific dot that I can empower, like the Stem DK with the Venomous Claw for example. That kinda sucked. Maybe they actually will change this Bee Swarm to a stamina morph and then it might become very viable. Might actually become very good. But again, like, why would I choose a Stem Warden over a Stem Sorc? Like, I always do those comparisons, right? Like, why would I use a Warden when I have something more strong available? Because the passives... The Warden only has 6% extra physical damage from the passives. Stem Sorc has that too. Stem Sorc has Implosion, like auto-execute. Stem Sorc has 15% ultimate cost reduction. Stem Sorc has 5% skill cost reduction. Stem Sorc has Hurricane. Like, why would I use a Warden? Just don't fucking know. Well, why would I use a stamina setup in general in any trial environment? Solo dungeon is gonna be fun to play, don't get me wrong. You also can play it in trial, it's just... Especially like when you wanna play as the new trial... It's gonna be just easier to survive with shields on, okay? That's the main issue I have with stamina setups. And Magicka setups don't do less damage. That's also another fucking stupid... I don't think they will fix stamina at all in the next patch, but whatever. That's not the point. Another point I want to make is I do think Stem Warden might be the most viable bow build out there. Sounds weird, yeah, I know. But first off, the blue floppy wings. It has access to the minor Berserk. Same buff from Combat Prayer, 8% more damage. So it doesn't need to be close or like in front of the player, the healer. It has the Cliff Racer, which has a stamina morph. So instead of weaving the shitty clunky snipe, you actually could weave the Cliff Racer. And if they change the dot from this Bee Swarm to a stamina dot, because now both versions are Magicka, then it actually might become pretty strong. But we will see, we will see. I don't dig it yet. PvP wise, again, a lot, like the class overall has access to a lot of major and minor buffs, useful buffs. So I do think the class will be very strong in PvP and versatile. You can build a lot of setups, unlike other classes. Let's talk about Magicka PvP build first. So the Magicka Warden has a lot of potential. Burst potential. Why do I say this? First off, you have the Hashimota, you activate the skill, it takes like 3 seconds, then it comes out of you and it shoots to the enemy, like in a line AoE. Cliff Racer is undodgeable, takes like 1 second till it hits the enemy. So you can use either Force Pulse or like Shock Clench. And all those 3 skills will hit at the same moment, which will be huge burst potential. It's not gonna be easy to line it up, but it's definitely possible. It's basically a one-shot. Then also the bear ulti, you have the betting edge, you have the bear ulti if you want to run this. It's just like pet zorks. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to target the wardens. Because even if you tap target it, the shitty tap target system doesn't work half the time. And you're still gonna hit the shitty pets. It's a pain in the ass. Another thing is, Warden actually has double the ulti gen than any other class. It has access to major heroism. What is major heroism? It basically doubles your ultimate generation. How does it get this buff? So you have this ability which kind of puts a shield around you when the enemy hits you with a spell projectile. So let's say a crystal fragment, for example. It will proc major heroism for 3 or 6 seconds, something like that. So we will get ultimate very, very fast. Fucking insane, actually. Yeah, that's basically it for, like... The only thing again here is, how is the resource management gonna... I don't think it will be a problem, because you have sets like Lich. You can probably combine Necro with Lich or something like that. You will have to run... If you want to play in light armor, you want to run Dampen Magicka. Get bigger shields, probably. So we will see. But I do think it has really good potential for Magicka PvP. Both melee and ranged. Because there's also, like, the class has ice dots, which snare the enemy and which deal a lot of damage, especially if you have a little bit higher health. We'll see how that plays in the overall game. It also has access to the spell and physical resistance buff, kind of like a frost armor. Makes you more tanky, and it actually applies to a lot of friends. That's also actually something you always want to have a Warden in your group, because it applies this spell and physical resistance, like the 5.3k extra, to all your people around. Probably 6, it's capped at 6, but it opens free slots for other setups. If you have a Magicka DK in your group, he doesn't need to run volatile armor anymore. Warden will provide him with this buff. So you open slots for other players. That's why I say you want to have a Warden no matter what. There's also the Sleet Storm ultimate, which I think does highly overperform. 30% damage mitigation on you, like the ultimate sticks on you. Can walk around with this. Now that's... I do hope they changed his to ground, like that they need to place it on the ground and it just will stay there. Otherwise Zergs will be fucking OP. They already wear mostly reactive armor, and then with this another 30%. No, please not. At least if they can place it on the ground and it doesn't move with them, they have to sacrifice mobility for damage mitigation. But now, like it was at the playtesting, it was like you don't have to sacrifice anything. You have your mobile and you have this huge damage mitigation. It's gonna suck, okay. I hope they change this. That's mostly it. Again, I will do more. I probably forgot half the shit, so I will do once more. We get the PTS. In terms of stamina, I also do think it's gonna be really strong. Oh, that's one thing, yeah, overall, like, you have those blue floppy wings. Gives you the major expedition speed buff and 8% more damage. So both for magic and stamina, the class will be, like, really mobile. Yeah. Now, I do think in PvP you can create a good bow build and a good melee build again. Burst potential, especially with DC Swing or Wrecking Blow. Hajmota, Cliff Racer, Wrecking Blow, all will hit at the same time, okay? Gonna be really strong. And then you can use the Bear ultimate as well. It hits like a fucking truck, okay? It's a slightly pain in the ass, just saying, but I really wonder, like, if it scales off stamina. If it does, it's gonna... But we will see. Also, again, it has access to so many buffs. Like, you have access to Major Mending, like you can read on my website, and Major Heroism, which you will make you gain a lot of ultimate if you want to use Flawless, like the Dawnbreaker of Smiting. You basically can pop that shit every 15 seconds, more or less, if you go for an ulti-gen build, because of Major Heroism and all that stuff. Gonna be really fucking strong. That's basically it. think I don't want to make the video longer. I will go more into detail about each specific setup once PTS launches, and also do tests and all that kind of stuff. So if you already do have some questions or like some suggestions, or like if you have something you would like me to test on the PTS, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that sweet sexy like button, and thank you for watching. Hey, cheers.